What is going on? Season 18 has dropped. Now, typically I come on here and whine about the time zone and how I'm too far west and blah, blah, blah. This time I'm going to whine about the fact that I was playing Boom Beach, didn't even notice the season had started, went for a hike, came back, wished there was some sort of animation on the actual warship that it showed the season had started or something. We're going to turn some audio on. I had it turned off because I was coming back from my hike, booming the beaches in the passenger seat of the car, much to the chagrin of my wife, for lack of a better word. Anyways, season 18 is here, and it is straight up awful for those of you who did not start at a decent tier. I started at tier 11, so I'm okay. My tech tree is crushing it. If you have not started, if you started below tier 4, you're probably going to have a problem. Do check out my sneak peek that I posted about that. Here is the answer. If you are stuck, be a bro, be a sister, be a friend, whatever you want to call it, and put an engine room right there. Don't put both your engine rooms up the front, but do consider putting one up the front, because Cryoneers cannot get to an engine room, as I pointed out in my sneak peek, as I warned Supercell about. So I told you so, the worst possible kind of way of I told you so. Anyways, like I said, do throw an engine room up front. It will help people progress, because obviously you can't get chests if you can't get an engine room. So here is my tech tree. This is the tech tree that I think every single person should be doing. Sniper towers up to level 4, mortars up to level 4, and that is just to get enough tech tree to get past here. And then, of course, what is that? That is troop damage. I did not upgrade my gunboat at all. Sort of useful, but I've got my shocks up to 2, and then we're just going to go the fastest possible route right through there. Did not get machine guns, even though they're tempting. Did not get mines, even though they're tempting, because no one cares about that crap. Gets us into heavies instead. Down the bottom road into building health, into 4 ticks on the flamethrower, and then we're into flares, and that is the fastest possible way. We are absolutely rushing over to Seekers. I am not giving a crap about anything in the way. I am not going to deviate. I am just going straight for Seekers, and then possibly at some point I might go back and get that troop health. We'll see. Let me know in the comments if you're going to go get troop health, but this is my tech tree, and I gotta say, it is absolutely perfect so far. I have been winning and losing, but it was enough to go from 11 up to 12, which got me into flares. And not using flares, I'll show you some attacks before I got flares down in here. Pulling off some wins, and it's all about timing. We're going to drop some heavies up the front, then we're going to drop some more up on this left-hand side, and just hoping they don't go for that mortar, because you know it's going to happen, but just a matter of delaying your drops well enough to get your troops in, using your GBE on shocks. Let's keep going, showing you a couple more wins. Once I got flares, I actually forgot to use them like a complete dum-dum. And on this one, there was no point holding any boats back, because you just got to crush them anyways. And it was just trying to get as many onto that right engine room as possible, cruising on back. Keep moving on, and I don't need to show you all the details. 3 minutes, 5 seconds is pretty darn quick, I gotta say. And that is where you drop 2 boats on the right, and then I don't like to drop all of my boats in the left, just in case I've miscalculated the distance, so I kind of do like 2, and then wait a couple seconds, and then 2 more. Probably overly paranoid and cautious, but it worked out against Livewire there. Against SJ, kind of like the SJ, I recognize the name SJ, this base, not good. The fact that people don't have flares, having all of your buildings in a straight line like this, not using all of this deck space on the right, massive mistake. BK01, that means my wife has gotten in the vehicle. We're going to turn off Bluetooth just so that we can continue with the audio. So SJ, I guess there's some lessons to be learned there. Use this right shore. You don't necessarily have to put an engine room here, but if you put some buildings on the right-hand side, you can draw some troops, and then make sure that these buildings are closer than these buildings so that all of the troops will get pulled from this left shore over to here, and people will be cursing and cursing and cursing. I am not the base designer of glory, but I definitely had to decent job. And as you can see here, using those middle heavy drops to pull some to the left. I dropped a little bit too early on that left, but we still managed to pull off the win. So use the fact that people don't have flares in the early season to your advantage. Now, I want to show you, this is completely embarrassing on my part. I had flares for this attack. So you'll notice I drop all my troops thinking I've got to get through all these buildings, and then we're grinding away and grinding away and grinding away. And I had just gotten flares in the middle of this attack, and I realized, oh, crap, I have flares, and just, you'll see in a second here, finally realize, oh crap, I actually have flares right now. Just so bad. That is the worst attack of my life. Figured I'd show it to you. When you have flares, walking all of your troops through mines, not super duper good. And at this point, once you get flares, it's just heavy rush. And I did 3 boats in the right, trying to save a little bit of time so that we can get all of our heavies back here. And then once you get flares and you're against people who don't have flares, they start retreating because they can see the fact that they have 0 chance whatsoever. So the faster you can get to flares, the faster you're gonna win, and it's just easy peasy once you do that. So again, not entirely sure this is the best strategy, and I know a lot of you out there are going to absolutely be hating on this season, and I agree. This season, I give Supercell credit. They were trying to do something neat. They were trying to go with, like, I love the fact that they had Cryoneers out front, but they would have had to give it all sorts of extra troop damage or even flares. There were some ways that they could make Cryoneers work, but they didn't implement them. So wish they would have consulted any of the boom tubers in the process or had us test it or something, but just not super great. Now this person, you see, they're trying to pull all of their troops over here. Then you're going to come back across all these mines, but there you have no chance because we have gotten into flares. So I guess this is just me trying to let you know, hey, get to flares as fast as you can. Don't waste time getting mines like this person did, or getting machine guns even. Just go straight into flares, and you're just going to cruise past all these people using the well-known, well-proven heavy rush. Now, I likely should be upgrading my gunboat at some point here. Also should be upgrading my flares, but I'm just going full, I mean, no, not flares, my shocks, I should say. I'm just going full offense. This season is the perfect season for the Orion style. No offense, no defense, just all offense, cruising through people's bases. We're going to get this down in 3 minutes, 12 seconds. 3 minutes, 12 seconds seems like the time for flares, where you can just cruise through people's bases. And Blub, or 3 LU88, just instant retreat because they know they don't have a chance. So at least we can give them that 1 engine room on the right. I'm kind of being charitable a little bit there, maybe, but at the tier 12, if you're tier 4 or 5, somewhere in that neighborhood, and you see people who just can't get engine rooms, please consider throwing an engine room out there, because otherwise this season is going to be a complete and utter disaster. So we are going to save it for Supercell. Maybe, again, same sort of thing. You see this? We're just going to get all of this stuff, and it's just free wins, essentially. So the faster you can rush to flares, the better off you're going to be. And all of these people who wasted their tech tree, their tokens on machine guns and mines are just kicking themselves right now as they watch all of our troops cruise through their replays, getting their engine rooms. I mean, those boom mines right there, just doing absolutely nothing. So I will redesign my base as soon as I start to run into some people with flares, but I kind of assume I'm going to cruise up through the ranks. I'm going to be able to go from 12, maybe even to like 14, 15, would really like to get into gold, but not sure that I have the time or the patience today. So today is December the 28th. 2020 is almost gone. Thank goodness. Let's have a look, see what this person's doing on my base. And I gotta say, I love getting all 3 engine rooms down before Greb even gets 1. And look at this, they gotta come all the way back into here. And I just love watching these sorts of replays. And but at the same time, I know that these people are just so frustrated. So the tech tree is so unforgiving. Hopefully you guys watched my sneak peek. If not, hopefully you watched someone's sneak peek or gave it some thought, because all of these people who have mines and machine guns are guaranteed to be kicking themselves. This season is going to be an absolute base race extraordinaire. There is not a lot of building health, so it's going to be just full on Rushy McRusherson. So hopefully you guys have spent your tech tree wisely. This season, I feel like there's going to be a lot of face palming, a lot of people quitting, and I don't think this season is going to be good for the Boom Beach ecosystem. Is that a thing? Is that a word? Regardless, I played the least Mega Crab I have ever done. Across all of my accounts, I did a total of 20 stages of the Mega Crab. So definitely not my most beneficial Mega Crab. I actually screwed myself a little bit simply because I've lost all of that extra powder that Mega Crab offers, but sometimes it's got to be done. This season, it's Christmas, or it was Christmas, so I figured, you know what, I didn't have the time or the patience for the Mega Crab. Instead, I worked on perfecting whiskey sours, which is not really a great activity. A bunch of biking, a bunch of hiking, and then a bunch of whiskey sours. And I gotta say, I am not a good bartender. My drinks definitely need work, but that's one of the benefits of having some time off, thankfully, this time of year. I've been working like an absolute dog lately, so making the most of my time off. This person looks like they might actually have flares, or I do like this split engine room with that engine room at the front right and then at the back. And like this person is showing, doing that split where you have one at the front, two at the back, works against people with flares and people without flares. So 251, a reasonable time, but this season instant training is going to be an almost must, I want to say. 247, so we are going to pull off the win. This person even went further along into the tech tree and got some riflemen. You have to get riflemen if you start at a low tier. If you're starting at tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6, you have to go get those riflemen, because Cryoneers are not going to do it for you. If you start higher, you can skip all that crap and get into heavies. Now, speaking of instant training, if you're going to buy instant training or some diamonds or whatever the heck it might be, do consider throwing Zmot into your creator code. It is greatly appreciated. Also, if you want 29 diamonds every single day, do consider joining one of our task forces. We've got a whole variety of them, from low level all the way up to high level. So do check the description down below. We've got the details for that. Here is my boss battle. I really do like this whole 3 boats on the right and then 5 on the left. I don't know if that's the fastest possible way to do it, but it seems to be working. And then as soon as this flare gets to about the halfway mark, I'm going to drop all of these heavies on the left-hand side, using that flare to draw my troops forwards, but not all the way off to that right-hand side. I feel like this is a good way to go. If you have a better strategy, would love to see it, but we're also going to be bypassing all of these mines. At this point, I am being cautious. Not many people have flares at this point, and the fact that this person the fact they have machine guns and mines means that I can probably be a little bit extra cautious, because they're not going to have flares. Now, obviously, as the season goes on, those sorts of indications are not going to be super reliable. Oh man, need to throw some shocks out there. This person's base doing all sorts of damage to my troops. I might be losing. Look at this. I'm very curious what the heck they've got. I should have checked the scouting bit at the beginning. I feel like they have some extra damage somewhere from the tech tree. Maybe it was just their mines. Let's see here. There is no defensive building damage along this way. I think I just literally wasn't using my shocks smart enough. I'm going to go back and get some gunboat energy simply by upgrading here. I'm not going to go into this choice node here. That was not good, folks. That was not good at all. Timmy is just going to cruise to a victory. So clearly Timmy spending on machine guns and on mines is going to get some benefits, but I think long term, not going to be viable. So Timmy, you took me down from the wheel. I went South Park on me. As soon as I see the name Timmy, I go South Park instantly. Timmy versus Jimmy. Let's go. We're going to go... How are we going to do this? I almost feel like not using a flare is actually beneficial on this one. I'm going to go something like this. Let my heavies on that right-hand side clear things out. The problem is my heavies are going to go from that sniper into that machine gun, so not smart not using flares, I don't think, but there might be some form of attack strategy in here where you actually mix in not using flares with using flares. I don't think that it's this what I'm doing right here, but we're gonna find out in a moment or two what the heck I'm doing. Just trying to balance the flare no flare sort of strategy. I think once this right engine room goes down, we're going to be set up for a good spot where I can just cruise into this engine room. But let me know if you have flares, if you're doing something along the lines of what I was trying to do there, where you're throwing in a mixture of flares and no flares, and I don't really think that was the right idea. Probably should have gone for the back two engine rooms and then gone for this front engine room, something along those lines, but we still finished off with 257, which is reasonable. Anything 250 and above right now should be getting a win. Darren the Hat coming in with the all heavy rush, just wishing that he had some flares right about now, because whatever he did on this right hand side was pretty darn effective. Look at that, a 4 and a 4 split. Maybe a 4 and a 4 is more effective than a 2 and a 5 or a 3. Anyways, it all depends on the base, but let me know in the comments what you think about this season, if you feel like it's too play to win, if you feel like the design was just poorly thought out, or if you're enjoying it. Because, I mean, for me, I ended up last season at rank 20, did not get into Diamond on either of my accounts, and the season from that point has been fantastic. But, of course, not many people have that starting point advantage. So, yeesh, this season, I feel like Supercell is going to be taking some serious heat over this one, and all I can do is say I told you so a little bit, which makes me there's no happiness in telling someone I told you so. I don't think there's ever happiness in that, but we're going to cruise along the outside of this person's mines. This base was probably a brilliant base when people didn't have flares, but I feel like you gotta split up your engine rooms, because once people start having flares, now it's just an easy peasy cruise, walk on by all of their defenses, and we're just going to get all 3 engine rooms in no time flat, probably be sub 3 minutes. I mean, super 3 minutes, I guess is what I was trying to say. Above 3 minutes. 3 minutes, 12 seconds is my guess. We actually went 3:14. And this person is going to watch that replay and hopefully rearrange their base, because flares are coming, people. Even if you're winning right now without flares, they are coming, and your base is going to have to be redesigned, or you're going to lose very quickly. So I don't know if it's 1, 2, and then 3 like mine. Seems to be good so far. Just trying to split the troops up is my goal, and having this mortar far enough from this engine room that the troops are hopefully going to go backwards. Didn't quite happen, but my base, I spent like 10 seconds thinking about how troops are going to walk, and do remember that if you have a building down in this part, the troops are going to go from there to there potentially, so you have to be a little bit careful with that as well. So taking down Mark, moving up into tier 13, not a true boss battle, 12 versus 12, with one of us moving up to 13, but as you can see by the replay log, season 18 going fairly smoothly for me. Hopefully it's going as smoothly for you guys. Hopefully you guys watched my sneak peek, got some insights about how to get some victories, mistakes to be avoided. Obviously my sneak peek did not have nearly, it didn't have the full tech tree path. I pointed out a couple obvious mistakes. Do let me know if you feel like my tech trees should be, or my early sneak peek should give a little bit more detail or not. trying to get the balance, because I don't want to lead people too far astray, because I find that giving a whole bunch of advice, the metas change quite a bit in the early season, so I basically don't want to make mistakes if I'm being fairly cautious in my sneak peeks. If you feel like I'm being too cautious, do let me know, and I will do a better job in my next sneak peek, giving you guys a couple more insights as far as things to avoid, things to look for, all that sort of jazz. So I feel like at this point, this person has just gotten my front engine room. Maybe they've gone around the back first with flares. If they have, they're likely going to do some good damage against me, but we're going to sneak right in here, just tapping away, waiting for that next flare to come out, and moving up. I probably can get into gold today if I stick with it, I would guess, simply because my tech tree, I think, is completely and utterly error-free at this point. P13, I'm definitely going to have to speed my attacks up a little bit, but running into people who have rifles and mines just shows me that my tech tree is stronger and better and all that sort of jazz. Do I mix in some Zookas? Possibly. I am going to unlock them, because that is going to be my path into the 4 engine rooms, but I'm not going to be upgrading them at this point. I am hopeful that we get some Zooka love in there, because, as you could have guessed, probably, I do like playing with Zookas, but I'm not going to be using them quite yet. Maybe there's going to be some sort of heavy cryo Zooka action, but for me right now, it's going to be all about, actually, you know what, let's throw that flare out there nice and early so we can get all of our heavies in there. Now we've got a bunch more GBE simply by upgrading our gunboat. This person has a legendary trophy, but they also have machine guns and flare mines, so hoping that we can get past all of their stuff. I'm also tempted to shock my heavies in location there, but we're not going to do that. We're going to get moving over into here, and this is not a fair fight. Like, my tech tree, I feel like, is just cruising through this stuff, and all of those mines are just sitting there wasted, not doing a heck of a lot. So hopefully, I'm going to keep this video short. I'm going to keep pushing in the background, but I feel like I'm sort of on repeat right now, saying the same things over and over again, and I don't want to be that person who keeps drilling into the fact that this tech tree is a fickle beast, and I'm really hopeful that you guys are having a good season 18, and if not, New Year's is coming, 2020 is going to be behind us, and I'm cautiously optimistic that 2021 is going to be better. So just cruising through, lots and lots of victories. I would love to see a wipe. I have not yet seen someone wipe on my base. I don't think it's likely to happen. I'm guessing this person doesn't have troop health, because their heavies are having a hard day, and look at that mortar is just wiping them out. So what better way to end a video than having someone completely and utterly fail to get all of my engine rooms, and it looks like that might happen. So Biffa, I'm sorry to see this, but at the same time, I love it when that happens. Now we just wait and see. Oh, well done. Biffa with the retreat. So my hat is off to you, Biffa. Well done. Let me know what you think about this tech tree, how your tech tree is doing, what you think about Season 18, if you have New Year's plans, and otherwise, if you have a good whiskey sour recipe, I wouldn't mind hearing that as well. So anyways, Season 18 is here. My video is very late, simply because I absolutely and utterly forgot about it. I would love it if, like, the warship icon pulsed or flashed or did something, because even if you have not played Warships in the past, you should click that Warships button. There are some extra bonuses in there, some rewards that you should all take advantage of every single season, even if you hate Warships, because it's free stuff. And who doesn't love free stuff? Anyways, as always, thank you for coming in. Hit me up in the comments. Talk to you soon. And if I don't, have a happy new year, and I hope your Christmas or holiday season has been fantastic. Thanks for coming in. I'm Zedmont. Peace.